So Vegas says the Brewers are going to finish fourth in their conference. Vegas usually right about those things. Not always, though. We'll get to that. No drama for Corbin Burnes. And the Brewers' winter warm-up is canceled. At least a portion of it will be, which was supposed to happen this weekend. All that and more coming up next on this edition of Locked On Brewers.
You are Locked On Brewers, your daily Milwaukee Brewers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Locked On Brewers. Good to have you along here. Yeah, no drama for Burnes. The Brewers pick for fourth in the division. That's a cry from the first place that they held last year. And the weather has taken its toll on the winter warm-up. Good to have you along. Chuck Freeman, Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. This show is brought to you by Gametime. Today's episode brought to you by Gametime. If you're looking to buy tickets, I bought some concert tickets on there the other day. Yes, download the Gametime app. Create an account. Use the promo code Locked On off $20 off your first purchase over at Gametime. My name is Chuck Freeman, first-year host, longtime sportscaster here in the state of Wisconsin. Love what I do. Going on my second year now. I'm calling it my second year because we're already looking at 2024. I got 2023 in my rearview mirror, looking at 2024 on the show, and we got some great things planned here on Locked On. Love the direction of, got an email the other day about the things that we're doing at Locked On, and things are exploding. We are taking this thing on a different level, which I'm really excited for as we approach spring training, especially when we got weather like we have today. The 15 inches of snow, maybe 20 where you are, who knows? But talking Brewers baseball, sadly, the winter warm-up got canceled this weekend. We'll get into that. At least a portion of it did. All that and more coming up here on the show. First of all, we'll talk about this win total about the Milwaukee Brewers, what they have. Vegas, and a lot of times with, the old expression, oh, Vegas was right on that. Sometimes they're wrong. Sometimes they're right. A lot of times I want to say they're right. But right now, Vegas has put out their win total. Here's the updated win total for our division. They have the Cubs in the NL Central winning the division with 85.5 wins, over and under 85.5 wins. So again, I assume everybody knows, but the bet there is, would you bet the Cubs to win over 85.5 games or under 85.5 games? That would be the bet. Not on 85. They put a half in there, obviously. So the Cubs, according to Vegas, Cubs are picked first. The Cardinals are going to make a jump to 85 wins. The Reds to 80.5 wins on the over-under. The Brewers at 79. The Brewers have fallen to 79, and the Pirates at 74.5. And the Pirates are supposed to be one of the worst teams in baseball. Not as bad as the Oakland A's. I think the Oakland A's were like 55.5. But the Brewers right now sitting at 79, depending on the book. But the one I took this from, 79 for the Milwaukee Brewers, over and under on wins. They don't think highly of this Brewers offseason, obviously. They feel the Cubs, who are starting to improve their team slowly here in the offseason. After a slow start for all of us, the Cubs have done a few things that, edged up. The Cardinals have done a few things early in the offseason. But the Brewers lost their manager, have holes at first and third base, don't have Brandon Woodruff, relying on a lot of young guys. The offense seems to not have improved. The pitching has taken a step back, I think, with the loss of Burnes, or with the loss of Woodruff, hopefully not the loss of Burnes. And the bullpen, can we count on to have a repeat performance and how good it was last year? So all that said and done, they have the Brewers at 79 wins. And I asked you, what do you think of that? 79 wins. To be honest with you, that's right about right, I think, for this team right now. Now, that could change, assuming the Brewers don't make any moves. I see a 500 team right now. And don't be coming at me saying, well, you're being negative about the team. No, I'm just being realistic about these guys. It's not been a wow offseason where they look at that and you just can't wait to get going with the team that they're putting out there right now. There's been some seasons where we felt that way, but I'm hoping the Brewers still have a move or two left in them. that win total will get bolstered a little bit, and I'll feel a little bit more optimistic about their chances. Now, the good thing is they're not in a very good division. And, yeah, the Cardinals at 85 wins, you're not going to keep them down long enough. And Cardinal fans still not happy with what they did in the offseason. I get that. The Cubs at 85.5 wins. The Reds, I think the Reds have been real active. They just signed Suter the other day, going back to his hometown. Real cool. So 79 wins. Now, again, you can look at this and say that doesn't mean a hill of beans. Or you can look at this and say, well, Vegas, yeah, they are right sometimes. And maybe they are right here. And I think 79 is right on with this current state. I see them right around the 500 mark as it stands right now. I hope I'm wrong on that. I think things are going to get better. I think the Brewers still have. I don't think this is the team we're going to war with, because big holes at first and third base. Why wouldn't you say 79 wins? Why wouldn't you say 79 wins? Let's see what some of you guys had to say about that. I put it out there. What do you think? Odds Vegas says fourth place finish, 79 wins. If you add everything up. Trevor says, I think it doesn't matter until the MLB fixes their revenue structure so all teams have an even or fair shot. Well, it does matter, because I don't think MLB's fixing this at all. It's been my long-standing beef that there's not a salary cap. The salary structure is bad. As you know, I've been ranting on that for 25 years, 30 years on various sports talk shows. But that's never going to get fixed. I wish it was, Trevor, but it's not. Tricky says, like I said, in response to the 70 and 92 talk, I fail to see the logic in such a predictive model. If Vegas even has one, what roster change accounts for a 13-game downswing? I just told you right here what some of the things that I think that's the justification they're making for 79 losses, 79 wins, 83 losses. Tyler says that's essentially 500, which is where I'd expect this team to be based on the moves we made and have made. You're right on, Tyler. Yeah. I mean, we all want to see our team to have 90 wins as a predicted win total, but realistically, they haven't earned that. You guys know that. Even you Brewers fans who go to bed at night with the Brewers sweats and the top and the socks, the Brewers toothbrush, as Mike Wiggett used to say, my good friend, former partner. You got to admit, 79 wins. That's right about where they are right about now, aren't they? Panther says, real thing every year, same thing every year. They always project low win totals regardless of season. Brewers had the year before. I'll be happy to take the money once again. So Panther likes the over. And if I'd bet, it's going to be right around, as of right now, I think they're going to improve this team. I'd make a bet on the over right now, because I think that over is going to jump up. I don't see Mark Antanasio feeling happy. Yes, the owner feeling happy with his team the way it is right now. The team he wants to battle with in the NL Central. I can't see him saying, yeah, I'm ready to go to war with this crew. No way. So I'd grab the 79 on the over. Now, if things don't change, this looks like a 79 win team. But long way to go between now and Valentine's Day and before opening day. Nick says, I'll take the over. I say 84 wins. Brock NSB, I'm hammering the under. Brock thinking under 79 wins. Adam says, how would we swing 13 games from last year? We lost. All we lost was 11 starts of Woody, Council, and a bad Rowdy Tellez, and a month of Marcana. Make it make sense. I think here's how it makes sense. I told you. And I think the Brewers overperformed with that pitching staff a little bit last year. Can Wade Miley have an equal season like he did last year? Can that happen? Is Colin Ray going to be the stopgap like he was last year? Because we're counting on him to be an integral part of the rotation now. And he did great coming up from AAA and making those starts last year. Andrew Monasterio providing some big at-bats coming up from AAA, a guy we never counted on. Can that expect it to happen again? Again, we got another year of scouting reports that visiting teams are going to have on these teams. So, yeah, I think that's realistic. Austin says take the over. Ryan says Vegas has been wrong and under our projected win total every season since 2018. Yeah, a lot of times they are wrong. They're right a lot of times, but as of right now, they're giving you a low total. So if you feel optimistic, go down and hammer that over. Speaking of hammering, Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. Chuck Freeman here on Locked On Brewers. Good to have you along here on Locked On Brewers. Again, we got some great things coming up here in the next several months on Locked On Brewers. And we'll be talking about those in the days and weeks to come. But right now, Gametime. I told you, if you want to get tickets to an event, go to Gametime. Download the app. If you had frustrations on other apps, other sources, browse through the Gametime app. The upcoming experience I had, the previous experiences I had are great. That's why I keep coming back. Just bought some concert tickets on there. Buy tickets in a matter of 2 taps. All the prices, your total upfront, no hidden fees. So you'll know you'll get a great deal right before you check out. You don't get to the checkout and say, oh, wait, this is not what I wanted. No, Gametime's up front with you right away. They got the hot deals, even an hour after an event starts. Concerts, football, baseball, basketball, college basketball, comedy, theater, all of it right there. The Gametime guarantee means you're going to get the best price. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Gametime will credit you 110% of the discount. So download the Gametime app, create an account, use the promo code LOCKEDON, LOCKED, for $20 off your purchase. Terms apply. Again, create that account. You can't get it unless you create the account. Redeem the code, spell out LOCKEDON, LOCKEDON on there. $20 off. Download the Gametime app. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed on Locked On. I'm telling you, I told you about my experience buying Brewers and Bucks tickets, and you'll find that as well buying tickets for anything you are looking for. Chuck Freeman here at Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are coming right back. Welcome back to Locked On Brewers. Chuck Freeman here on Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. You get us on Google, Spotify, Apple. We're on all the major downloads. When you anywhere you want to download the audio version, because we're the number one Brewers podcast on the internet for a reason, because you great Brewer fans out there downloading us, following us along 3 times a week here in the wintertime, keeping you posted. Did a late night video last night on one of our on our channel here, just talking about some of the moves the Brewers made last night as far as arbitration. We're going to get to that here in a little bit. But of course, our YouTube channel, our growing YouTube channel, go to YouTube, search Locked On, hit the subscribe button, please, hit the bell. I appreciate every viewer and every listener. I really do. Here on Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day, video, audio, and more to come coming up this spring. All right. The arbitration, nobody went to arbitration, thank God. And what I don't like about arbitration is there's some mudslinging, and especially from the teams. Like last year, the Brewers said some things about Corbin Burnes he didn't like, and it kind of ruined Burnes' relationship with the team. They patched things up, but they agreed on a 1-year, $15.6 million. This is the last year they're going to have to do this with Corbin Burnes, because let's face it, Burnes is not coming back next year. He is just not coming back, and it's a shame, as we've talked about, but they agreed with Burnes, 1 year, $15.6 million. He's probably going to get maybe double that on the market next year. It got a little ugly with Devin Williams at times. Went past the deadline. They worked after the deadline. They bought out the final 2 years of his control. So that is good. 1 year, $7.5 million. They bought out 2 more years, like I think $18 million on that. So he'll be a free agent at the end of 2025. So he's under control for this year and next year. And he'll be out of control. He'll be out of team control after 2025. He'll become a free agent. And you know, the Brewers' history of signing their closers, not a good one. We saw what happened with Josh Hader, and it could happen with Devin Williams. I still wouldn't put it by them to trade him this offseason. I still wouldn't put it by him. Maybe keep him for another year, but he had a fantastic season last year. Devin Williams is great. He is fantastic. But I think Uribe is eventually going to be the closer on this team. And who knows, maybe they trade Devin Williams at the All-Star break if they're not in it. And then Uribe, if things work out, if he has a good first half, he's the closer. They agreed with Payamps, I mean, all these deals you knew were going to happen. They happen eventually, whether they go arbitration or not. Hobie Milner on 2 million. Adames, $12.25 million. Now, everybody tells me that Willy Adames will be one of the top names on the free agent market next year. At 217, 24 homers last year. He better improve those numbers if he wants $200 million. So there's going to be some pressure on Willy Adames this upcoming season. He got $12.25 million for this 1 year, the final year of his of club control, and then he becomes a free agent. He got a $3.5 million raise. We'll see. We'll see how the market shows. The Brewers clearly are not interested in him long term. They would have signed him to a long-term contract years ago. They would have bought him out of these arbitration years, and they would have given him a long-term contract. That hasn't happened. And usually when the Brewers are silent about that, they let the guy fly to free agency. There's not even any token negotiations with him. So Willie, he could be traded here in the offseason, $12.25 million. That's a great price for Willy Adames. I'm expecting him to bounce back. I don't think he was as bad as he was last year. 24 home runs, 217. He was in the heart of the order a lot last year. I think he's more of a fifth place hitter or a number 2 guy in the order. But Willy Adames is coming back, but he will not be here long term. Don't be going out there buying Willy Adames jerseys because he's not going to be here with this team long term. And it's a shame. Bauers, $1.35 million. Please let Jake Bauers be our first baseman on opening day. Bryce Wilson, the unsung hero for 2023, unsung hero award. He got $1,025,000. I think it was $1 million, $1,025,000, not 2.5, but like $25. I want to know how they came up with $25 at the end of that $1 million. Not flat $1 million, $1,025,000. So they gave $1 million plus a 20 and a $5. And that was it right there. So Burnes, Wilson, Adames, Milner, Burnes, Williams, and Piamps all in. Everybody's in. Nobody goes to arby. And again, we don't need the team saying bad things about our player, the team saying bad things about the players and players getting ticked off. That's just the way arbitration works. I don't like the process, but that's just the way it is until they fix that. All right, when we return, talk about the winter warm-up. And Joey Votto is still a free agent. He thinks he's going to be in somebody's training camp coming up next month. Although at 40 years old, he's still a man without a country, as they say. We'll come back after this. Chuck Freeman, Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. Every dayers out there. I know who you are. You follow me on Twitter. I see your comments on YouTube. Go follow me on Twitter, please. Chuck Freeman, F-R-E-I-M-U-N-D. It's pronounced Freeman, F-R-E-E-M-A-N, but it's spelled Freeman, F-R-E-I-M-U-N-D. Follow me along on Twitter. Always love reading your comments about anything, but especially Brewers baseball. My favorite team, your favorite team as well. And boy, you get a winter day like this in Wisconsin. Everything is closed. Just kind of warms you up to be sitting here and talking some Brewers baseball in my Locked On Brewers studio, talking Brewers baseball with you. And of course, our growing YouTube page. Go to YouTube, search Locked On Brewers, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. That'll alert you every time we drop an episode here on Locked On Brewers. Heading down the home stretch after this timeout here on Locked On Brewers. Welcome back to Locked On Brewers. Chuck Freeman, your host here on Locked On Brewers. Joey Votto. I'd kick the tires on Joey Votto. I don't know if he's much liked among Brewer fans, but if he's one of our guys, we'd like him right away. I'd put him over at first base. The Reds obviously don't want him back. I think everybody's playing the waiting game on that, hoping to get Joey in on a low price. He still wants to play. Thought he was very productive in the second part of the season for the Reds. I know I talked to the Reds guys from Locked On Reds. They're very high on Joey. They love Joey. I'd take him over Jake Bauers. I'll tell you that. How many different options? Rhys Hoskins. I'd take Rhys Hoskins. But Joey Votto, would that be a Brewers move though? bringing 40-year-old Joey. I would take Joey Votto on my team at 40, but Carlos Santana at 38, I'd take Joey Votto over Carlos Santana. I feel like they're going to go down the Carlos Santana roll. I don't want to do that, but I would, if you told me, hey, I could have Joey Votto or I could have Carlos Santana, I'll take Joey Votto. I'll take Joey. I think Joey Votto, get him on a winning team, not in our division. I feel like Joey Votto, who I feel like argues every ball that's called against him. You see him at the plate. That gets kind of old. Ryan Braun used to do that, and umpires hated that. He'd be at the plate. Ryan Braun would be at the plate. I've heard this from other umpires in restaurants, let's just say. And I've heard Ryan, when Ryan was at the plate, he would get a ball would go by him and be called a strike on the outside corner or whatever. And, while he's adjusting his pads, he is just complaining up a storm. I didn't know that about Ryan until last couple of years, but that was umpires did not like him for doing that. Joey Votto does the same thing. You see Joey, he points out where that ball is. If there's a ball off the outside point of the play, he takes the bat and he puts it, says it's outside. Umpires hate that when you try showing them up. And these umpires got big egos, and I get it. And these guys tick all of us up. And you would say those umpires deserve to have some of that against them. But Joey Votto's one of those guys. Complains about balls and strikes at the plate. Under his breath. When he steps out, that. Joey Votto. But still, if you were to tell me right now, Joey Votto's going to play. Now, that's not going to move the Brewers' win total from 79 to 80. But I think that's a step in the right direction. I'd take him on a one-year deal. No long-term deal for Joey. But you wait. Somebody will pick him up, and it'll be a contender, I think. Joey will go to a contender. I think he certainly will be. He'll be somebody's first baseman going into camp. The winter warm-up, the Brewers were going to have 2 days of this year, and because of the snowfall and the wintry conditions, this is one of the worst snowfalls we've had. The winter warm-up on Saturday, which I was looking forward to it. Thought we'd get some news coming out of there and all that. The players were all coming in, but they can't fly in. The airport is closed. So they've called it off. No autographs, nothing. Everything that was supposed to take place in downtown Milwaukee on Saturday, you're going to get your money back within 7 days, according to the team. But the autograph session, the live show, none of the players are going to be there because nobody can get in because of the bad weather. The Cubs are still holding their convention this weekend because they're starting Friday night and the players got in Thursday. So the Cubs are still going to be able to hold theirs because they're started on Friday night. The Brewers started on Saturday. And I'm not saying the Brewers are wrong and starting on a Saturday. But like I said, the Brewers need to hold this at going forward. Let's have this conference. Let's have this convention at Miller Park. Let's have it at Miller Park. Let's make use of the Miller Park or AmFam Field in the offseason. We're going to heat that place. Let's have it there instead of going downtown. But downtown is like a standstill today. And I can see it. And tomorrow it's going to be worse. This stuff is not going to end till noon tomorrow. Autograph session, live show. I didn't see any plans for a makeup. So it's probably not happening. It's probably not happening. There will be the instructional that's going to take place on Sunday in New Berlin. No players. There's going to be some alumni out there. There's going to be the instructional, the clinic going on Sunday. But as far as Saturday, the live show, the autograph section, that is not going to be happening with the Milwaukee Brewers. And that's kind of always the unofficial start of the next baseball season. I think when the Brewers have this winter warm-up, you go there they used to have it earlier. They used to have it later. They would have it between the conference finals in football and Super Bowl week. You'd go in there on that Sunday, and it'd be fun because you get in there, and the players would be there, and it's just got the juice. You get autographs and all that. Your kids get autographs. You get the blood flowing when you left there for the start of spring training and opening day. I can't wait to see that first pitch at spring training after shoveling today and all this bad weather. That first pitch of spring training, or turning on Euchre and everybody else in that broadcast booth and seeing that first pitch. That's great. Whether watching them online or wherever, TV, listening to them on the radio. Can't wait for that first pitch. But yeah, I'm going to miss the winter warm-up. I was looking forward to going down there on my Saturday afternoon and seeing if we can get any news, getting some information and all that, but that is not going to happen. Right? What can you do? Nobody's fault on that. 79.5 wins, huh? That's where Vegas has the Brewers. Got to get going on this off season. We need things to improve. And that's going to do it for the show today. Have yourself a great weekend, everybody. Stay safe. Stay out of the traffic. Well, there's not traffic, but stay off the roads. That's my advice. Just hang out. Hope you have a chance to watch this video today. And looking forward to your comments, both on Twitter, Chuck Freeman, FREIMUND, or on YouTube. Locked On Brewers is on YouTube. And, of course, search Locked On Brewers on YouTube and subscribe. And, of course, we're on all the audio downloads as well. Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On podcast. All you everydayers, we are your team every day. So long, everybody.